From the fast action of the trading pit to the power brokers making the headlines, you'll hear it all on the Traders Network Show with your host, Michael Yorba. All right. Michael interviews the front page titans about the latest in trading tools and market trends in stocks, commodities, bonds, forex, and derivatives. The Traders Network helps you stay ahead of the curve and delivers tomorrow's trade today. Now, here's your host, Michael Yorba.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media radio stations and worldwide through yorbamedia.com. All right, my first guest today, Marne Martin, CEO, ServicePower, and she is just a world of excellence and depth in what she does on both sides of the Atlantic. It brings a lot of international experience to something that everybody needs in the industry. All right, Marne, welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
All right, my pleasure. All right, Marne, now I gave a real high-level overview of what your background. I didn't even get into the drill down into it. Could you bring out the flavor of who you are and how you managed to make such a success out of your business?
So that's great. So personally, I've been involved in technology and telecommunications for almost 20 years. We brought some of the GSM technology to the Americas. We did early-stage telematics. I've worked in most of the continents around the world. What's specifically exciting about ServicePower is field service is a bit the ubiquitous industry that everyone knows about but doesn't really think about. It's what keeps the telecom networks running, your utilities running. It's also, the field service technician that comes in to service the appliance in your home. If you have home health care, remote oil field workers, the restocking agents, all of that's the face of field service. So we touch everything not only with technology, but it still involves the personal touch for the customer.
All right. Now, let's drill down into that a little bit. How do you do all of those things? I mean, and what is field service?
So field service, and again, excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold. I had a great time at Dreamforce last week, but I did come back with a cold. So field service is when you have a mobilized technician. So that person might be an employee or it might be an independent contractor. And what you want to do is we have a variety of products. So our longest standing product is what's called service scheduling, and it's a very detailed artificial intelligence algorithm-based product that actually optimizes the activities of the employed technicians, not only for the business goals regarding maximizing first-time fix, number of jobs per day, but also making sure that it meets the customer needs, that you're sending the right technician to the right job, that you have the parts, you're optimizing travel time, etc. Certainly. So if you look at, I'll start first with the types of companies that use more of our service scheduling and mobility products.
Okay.
So there you're looking at companies that are using what's called branded service. So that may be your large insurance companies, where you have adjusters. It might also be your large security companies where you have people coming to do whether home or business or types of security monitoring. You might also have, say, telecom clients, right, that are sending their technicians in to whether install or repair, what have you. Mm-hmm. So on that, what we're doing is, in general, the basic that you see for kind of the SMB market is where you're doing kind of using technology to adapt from a paper schedule where you're taking a job and you're just putting it on the schedule. Right. What we do instead is we're looking at, all right, if you have 1,000 jobs that you need to fit in today, what is the most optimal way to put those jobs into the schedule? And then the software is continually optimizing. So as things change during the day or as opportunities develop to further make improvements for efficiency or customers' needs, our software never stops working. And that's a really important differentiator when you look at our competition. The next type is we actually manage about, I'd say, approximately 60% of the U.S. Manufacturers' warranty claims in America, and a lot of what's called the TPAs, the insurance underwriters that are writing in warranty and out of warranty contracts, whether on major appliances, consumer electronics, etc. And most of that market is more related to using independent contractors. So we actually have about the largest penetration of managing and dispatching jobs to the independent contractors in the U.S. and U.K., and we're expanding that globally. That's really important as well when you look at some trends like connected service M2M, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at your website. I see scheduling, mobile, service ops, M2M, connected services, field service management, workforce business consulting, outsourced service management, and cloud deployment. M2M, not everybody would know immediately what that is. Can you bring that out?
Oh, absolutely. So M2M stands for machine to machine. And it sounds like a complicated term, but in reality, it's actually quite simple. So what it involves is getting information out of a machine or a device, right? So at a basic level, we're used to the cell phone, say, telling us when it has a low battery, right?
Right.
So what we're doing is, for example, say you have a generator that's at your cabin in the woods, all right? And you're getting ready to go there for a ski trip. And, you know, if you have to go there to check the generator in advance, that means you're making 2 trips. But if you had a sensor on that generator that said, look, the generator is working fine, or no, there's a fault in the generator, or what have you, and you're getting an automatic alert, then you would know without having to make that extra trip whether you had a problem with the generator. And that's really important because a lot of the evolutions of M2M has come with large machinery. For example, if you're building a tunnel, right, and you have one of those tunnel machines that are digging into the mountain, you don't want it to break in the middle of the mountain. So you would put a sensor on it that would have whether vibration sensors or heat sensors or what have you that would tell you, look, you need to do maintenance on this machine to prevent it from breaking. So that would give you the opportunity to back out the machine, do the maintenance, and prevent it from breaking. So the machine-to-machine technology is a way to not have to go monitor with a person to do checkups maybe when it wasn't needed, but it also gives you the information that you can start moving to a proactive or a predictive field service model where you're starting to anticipate failure so that rather than waiting for it to break, I can go do preventative maintenance prior to it breaking so that the customer doesn't lose use of that piece of equipment. And that's really important also when you look at things like elevators, certain things in healthcare, what have you.
Wow, I can see. And you had mentioned earlier that your software optimizes itself as it's continuously optimizing itself. I can see tremendous savings by using this. How does it optimize?
Absolutely.
I'm really curious about the optimization process of your software. It sounds like it's almost artificial intelligence.
It is. It's amazing. It really is. So one of the advantages of our software is even though it's incredibly robust and we can build in so many parameters to fit our client's business, we can make it act local even for our global clients. So it's very configurable in the sense that if we have a multinational client that wants to modify the business parameters to customize how they go to market and how they drive their field service in a given geography, the software has the intelligence to do it. And it's built off what's called simulated annealing. So you've probably seen in the financial world Monte Carlo simulations. Simulated annealing is similar to a Monte Carlo simulation, that it continually is driving optimization. So it'll be looking at parameters like travel time, jobs per day, local knowledge, skill sets, parts availability, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And it will be mathematically costing those out and then getting the least cost schedule that still meets the business priorities and the customer needs of our client. And really, there's only a few companies in the world that do that. So it's really great that ServicePower is one of them.
You're all over the world, I take it.
So we're in about 9-10 countries now, and we're growing actually quite quickly. So if you look at 2015 going forward, we've already announced in public announcements that we're looking to approximately double our country reach next year, and then in 2016 we should go even further. So ideally within the next 2, maybe max 3 years, we should be in about 3 times the number of countries that we're in now. And it will largely be on the back first of existing client rollouts. we're really fortunate that we have a variety of very large enterprise multinational clients. So we're starting the work now to roll out with them. Instead of just being with them, say, in the U.S. or the U.K. or Canada, et cetera, we're starting to go more global with them.
You're publicly traded also, right?
Yes. So, excuse me, the company was originally a management buyout from ICL, which is like the IBM of the UK. Mm-hmm. So it was publicly traded quite early on. And we have difference. I've only been with the company approximately a year, and we've really been in a major transition phase in terms of top to bottom, our go-to-market capabilities. We've really invested in the technology. We've also worked to improve the brand awareness and the analysts, and there'll be some exciting announcements that are coming out over the next 3 months about that. We just had a really great Frost & Sullivan report put out that you can see on the website. And then as we also the contact center vendors, et cetera. So what we want to do is that we want to align with some of these larger partners that may be in the billions of revenue so that we can go to market together. They have need for our sophisticated software, and we obviously want to partner with them because they have much larger client reach than we do yet as of this day.
Let's get that symbol out so people can look it up.
SVR.
SVR, and it's I saw that
it's a London AIM market. So at this point, we're traded only on AIM. So whether we pursue other, secondary listings or what have you, we'll see in the future. But you can certainly find us on the AIM market of the London Stock Exchange.
Okay. All right. We've got about 2 minutes left in the this segment of the interview, and you're going to come back for another segment. But before we go, are there any contact parameters or contact information you can give our audience? Because everybody that's out there, I can see, definitely has to have the software. It's got to have your services because it's just such a great. I mean, that's the biggest problem that I face is getting everything organized, and that's exactly what you do. Could you help us with that?
Certainly. So ServicePower.com is the website. I'm also personally on Twitter or LinkedIn for the business clients, and we have a great group of people that are doing support, marketing, sales. You can reach out to us, and we're so happy to hear the customer stories. So, any feedback on what field service is to you today, whether, there are customers that are needing our software or just want to share their stories of how their businesses are growing and what they see with M2M or some of the trends, we love to hear from anyone.
All right, we'll be right back on the other side of this break with more from Marne Martin, CEO ServicePower, and symbol on the London market, SVR. So we'll be right back. Thank you.
From the North Texas Traffic Center in Dallas, 35E northbound at Sainer Avenue, we have an accident tying up your right center lane. We are seeing that delay back from Highway 67, adding just a couple of minutes there. 635 LBJ Freeway westbound just before Forest Lane. Another problem tying up your left lane. We're seeing that stop-and-go traffic back from Royal and out in Bedford, 183 eastbound before Highway 121. We have an overturned vehicle tying up those two left lanes. I'm Heather Anderson with your KFXR traffic.
When life gets too loud, there's always music. Millions of songs, thousands of stations, one free app. iHeart Radio is that easy. Download the app today or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
Attention men and women, are you suffering from back pain, neck pain, or joint discomfort? Would you like to learn of a non-surgical solution? Call American Medfix at 972-591-6675. That number again, 972-591-6675 to receive free info on how you may qualify for natural creams that may provide you with the relief you are seeking. All products are 100% made in the USA. Call now, 972-591-6675 or visit AmericanMedfix.com.
Call Big D Cats Catamarans for fun corporate events and private parties. Come celebrate with your special clients and build your team. Bring up to 85 of your clients and friends for dinner and dancing on the yacht just minutes away from your office at Pier 121 Marina on Lake Louisville. Come sailing, golfing, target shooting for a fun yet elegant evening and cruise. you have to see this beautiful 70-foot catamaran. Check out the website at bigdcats.com. And to book your event today, call 214-705-3772.
The Garage is a business accelerator and investment fund looking for new ideas in technology, manufacturing, and consumer goods. Our 90-day intensive workshops, taught by entrepreneur mentors, are focused on one thing: helping you make money faster. Each week, you'll experience a class taught by successful entrepreneurs with the guidance of experienced mentors in your field. We get you to revenue faster and help you find investors when the time is right. To learn why we're different, go to workthegarage.com. That's workthegarage.com.
Dear customers, please eat burgers somewhere else. I didn't realize the effect advertising on the radio during dinner time, when all you people are thinking about is food, would have on my business. I've recently developed carpal tunnel from flipping so many burgers. Ow, ow. Sincerely, Susan, owner of the Hindenburger.
Susan advertised on the radio and, to her regret, scored a ton of new business. If you wish you had her problem, contact us immediately.
Visit DFW1190am.com, keyword advertise, to find out how you can get to the right customers at the right places.
Hi, I'm Rodney Anderson, here to answer the question, what is the hottest loan program that people are asking about today? It's the Cash Out Refinance. Pick up the phone right now and call 1-800-EXPRESS and listen to the Rodney Anderson Radio Show weekdays from 3 to 4 p.m. on AM 1190.
From the Mini Cooper Weather Center, today partly sunny and warm, high of 82. Tonight fair skies, low of 60. This report is brought to you by the new Total Traffic app.
For times when you can't hear live traffic reports on your radio, download our new Total Traffic app. Get the simplest view of traffic conditions all around you. Available for iPhone and Android, the Total Traffic app is the easiest way to see the road ahead.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and worldwide through yorbamedia.com. All right, I have got Marne Martin, CEO, service provider, and symbol is SVR on the London Exchange. All right, Marne, welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
All right, my pleasure. You have really are revolutionizing the field service with connected mobile software that just does a lot more than I could even describe for its clients. I want to talk about the service and then going to market on this segment, and then if we can squeeze in milestones you've recently achieved, and you touched on it on the last segment, but also what you can say about future events that are going to come to ServicePower.
So, for sure. So, one of the things that we have invested a great deal within ServicePower is building a competitive advantage that we have in what we call the connected services space. So field service is fundamentally connected, right? The post-sale support and having the technician in the field ties in to the pre-sale, the repeat of the purchase decision, and the brand loyalty. So that is fundamentally what makes field service important for the customers that buy our software. Our responsibility and what we do, of course, is helping them to fulfill the customer expectations while still driving the fundamentals of their business. So we allow them to actually book in a lot more jobs per day by using our software solutions. They're also able to get much more real-time information by having the mobility device in the field with the technicians. And then they're able to utilize the analytics that we have and the experience we have doing field service to drive continuously the evolution of their businesses. Because what you see is if you have the first decision to purchase a software like ours, you'll get an immense improvement, right? Because you're suddenly optimizing with all the robustness of the software, the schedules that before people were doing in more simplistic ways. But it doesn't stop there. We like companies to partner with us and be a little bit greedy in a way that once you have the software, we want to keep driving it. What can you do between, say, break, fix, and preventative maintenance? How can you optimize your technician profiles? How do you optimize your productivity goals? How do you look at incorporating machine-to-machine technology, et cetera? One of the things I'm passionate about with our clients is that what we're doing today won't be good enough tomorrow or the day after. So we want to be a partner that works with them through the utilization of our software platform to drive their business goals in the long term. And ServicePower has the basis to do that because we have very long-standing clients. We've benefited from 100% client retention. And now with what we're doing with the latest generation technology, improved go-to-market, brand awareness, we have some great analyst news coming out now, as well as the partnerships that we're developing, we'll be able to do that much faster and support higher rates of growth in the future as all this comes together.
Can you, and you know where you need to stop, but can we talk about some of that analyst news that's coming out?
So first, some of it, I just recommend to people to keep an eye on the ServicePower.com website,
All right.
as well as maybe set up a Google alert or another RNS alert. So we have put on the website yesterday, I believe, the new Frost & Sullivan report. And that's huge because it's not enough to just go to kind of a Me Too field service provider. There's a lot of providers that have come into the market in the last, say, 5 years, 10 years, that do some of the things you need, but don't do it to the level that ServicePower and a few of our other competitors do. And that's when you look at the predictive, proactive field service model. So if you look at the Frost & Sullivan report that's up there now, that gives you an idea of, you know, yes, we can do the first stage field service movement where you're looking at getting a software package like ours, but we can do much more, and that's where the Frost & Sullivan report talks about. There also will be some additional analyst reports that come out. Aberdeen was just at our user forum, which was great, and we'll have some material on that coming out regarding also smart cities and things that we're doing in that area. And then, you know, if you look at, you have a lot of the big ones like Gartner and Forrester and many of the others that, you know, obviously anyone in the industry should keep an eye on.
Okay. Let's bring out some of the accomplishments of the company, some of the milestones you've achieved, and things that you're looking to do in the future. And obviously, you know, you've got to keep a rein on it because there's certain things you can't talk about, but whatever you can, I'd love to hear about it.
Certainly. So, you know, ServicePower had all the seeds of a great company before I came. It had a very attractive and very strong competitive advantage product in the service scheduling. It had service operations, which is unique, and we're the only company that can handle hybrid or mixed labor forces where you may have an employee base that covers, say, urban areas, and you use contractors in rural areas or some mix of that. But what we have really worked to do is take the mobility product that was acquired in January 2013 and integrate that into our overall product suite. We also did an in-licensing deal with Bosch Solutions on the M2M business logic. We've also focused a great deal on connecting the products in a new way to create this connected services platform. So there's been a huge amount of investment that we've done this year. Last year, you know, I've only been here approximately a year. So last year we were, of course, working to commercialize the mobile technology and to launch some new client relationships. This year we're continuing to grow our client relationships, but we've also added on some of the strategic repositioning we needed to do as a company in terms of technology investment, updating our security and infrastructure areas, as well as transitioning from more of a license model to a SaaS model, software as a service. So in the near term, when a company transitions from having a lot of upfront kind of lumpy and uneven license purchases to a software as a services, you may have lesser growth in the near term, but you're building the recurring revenue base for the long term. And that's why our companies like Salesforce and what have you have been so extremely successful, because they have been able to build that software as a service model into billions of recurring revenue. So we're still a long way from having that level of revenue, but we're doing that same transition now at ServicePower that some of our other companies have done in the sector in some years past.
You mentioned earlier that you're in 10 countries, if I think I got that number right, and you're looking to double that as you go forward. I'd like to hear from you where you're seeing the biggest demand out in these international markets.
So what's interesting is, you know, when you look at the emerging markets, if you will, you know, you obviously have Latin America, and I've personally worked in Latin America, and that's definitely a growth area for ServicePower. We also, you know, I've worked in the Middle East, Asia. You know, we're already growing quite heavily through continental Europe, and that's happening organically. We'll have some more growth through there before year end. So we're building not only the capabilities for, Unicode, multi-language, all of that, but we're also building the relationships from a professional services perspective and a support perspective that we can expand our reach, because we have very sophisticated support processes and very experienced professional services consultants that are actually huge subject matter experts. But we want to grow our capabilities so that we can scale to do more implementations faster, and obviously it would be more efficient to have professional services partners in those expanded global regions rather than having to always fly our people out there.
I was just thinking about another application. I don't know if you are in the broadcast, if you have any clients in the broadcast area, but where people have let's say remote correspondents all over the place, to schedule them into a show. This would be tremendously applicable in that point, because things are moving so fast in that area. You know what I mean?
That would actually be super. We haven't looked at that vertical, but the software adapts itself really well across verticals. So, even though we have some competitors that are larger than us, they have focused more on, say, a few verticals like utilities or telecom. We actually have really broad experience in a number of verticals, and we also have done some desk optimization. And, there's ways of using the algorithms for things like that. So I'd love to talk to you more about that, and we can certainly put one of our technology experts in touch with one of your people.
We'll do it. All right, Marnie, thanks for being on the show. I appreciate this.
My pleasure. It's lovely to talk to you.
You too. Marnie Martin, CEO, ServicePower, symbol SVR, and special thanks to 1-800-PublicRelations.com for all their PR and media support. We'll be back on the other side of this break with more great content for you.